बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. In this lecture, I will discuss the solutions of S1 variant 51 of November 2020. And for this, I am using the work of an outstanding and one of my best student, Miss Subika Heather of class 2022 KGS. All these instructions are very important, especially this last one. Give non-exact numerical answers correct to 3 significant figures. Always follow these instructions. An important advice: speak well or don't speak. 2 important tips to solve the paper in a good way. Number 1, avoid careless mistakes. Number 2, read the question carefully. Question number 1. 2 ordinary fair dice, one red and the other blue, are thrown. Event A is the score on the red die is 3, is divisible by 3. Event B is the sum of the 2 scores is at least 9. This is the possibility space of this situation. This is for red die and this is for blue die. The score on the red die is divisible by 3 means there are 12 outcomes altogether. These are 12 outcomes on red die on which the score is divisible by 3. So the probability of event A is 12 upon 36. Event B is the sum of the 2 scores is at least 9. So these are the possible scores for event B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 scores for event B, in which the sum of the 2 scores is at least 9. So the probability for event B is 10 upon 36. And the common means circle and this cancel line. So there are 5 scores which are common. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 upon 36. And we had to find this thing in the intersection. Part B. Hence determine whether or not the events A and B are independent. For events to be independent, this equation must be verified. Probability A times probability B is equal to probability A intersection B. So we just need to check whether this equation is verifying or not. So the probability A is 12 upon 36, probability B is 10 upon 36, whereas probability A intersection B is 5 upon 36. The simplified form of this is 5 upon 54, which is not equal to 5 upon 36. Therefore, the 2 events are not independent. Question number 2. The probability that a student at a large music college plays in the band is 0.6. For a student who plays in the band, the probability that she also sings in the choir is 0.3. This is here. 0.6 plays and 0.3 sings. And this should be 0.4. For a student who does not play in the band, the probability that she sings in the choir is x. This is x. So this must be 1 minus x. This is the tree diagram of this situation. The probability that a randomly chosen student from the college does not sing in the choir is 0.58. So this probability is 0.58. Sum of these two. Does not sing. So you just need to take this product and sum of these two. 0.6 into 0.7 plus 0.4 into 1 minus x is equal to 0.58. By solving this equation, you can easily get the value of x, which is 0.6. 2 students from the college are chosen at random. Part B. Find the probability that both means multiply. Students play in the band, meaning 0.6, and both sing in the choir, meaning 0.3. So this is for one student and this is for the other student. So 0.6 into 0.3 multiply by 0.6 into 0.3. Make sure you give your answer up to 3 significant figures. Question number 3. K is competing in a throwing event. A throw is counted as success if the distance achieved is greater than 30 meters. The probability that K will achieve a success on any throw is 0.25. So this is P. Find the probability that k takes more than 6 throws to achieve a success. This means the geometric distribution with p.6. More than 6, you write more than 6 in this way, q power 6. And this is the answer up to 3 significant figures. Since p is 0.25, therefore q will be 0.75. Part B. Find the probability that for a random sample of 10 throws, k achieves at least 3 successes. This means binomial situation because there are fixed number of trials. So binomial with n10 and p 0.25. At least 3. This is the direct way, 3, 4 till 10, and this method is lengthy, so you have to use this indirect method. 1 minus those numbers which are not in this list. That is 210. And do this calculation carefully and give your answer up to 3 significant figures. Question number 4. The random variable x takes each of the values 1, 2, 3, 4 with probability 1 upon 4. Two independent values of x are chosen at random. This possibility space will make this situation simple. Two values of x. If the two values of x are the same, the random variable y takes the value, this value, since both values are same, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, so these are the values for y. Y takes that value. Otherwise, the value of y is the larger value of x minus the smaller value of x. So, 2 minus 1 makes 1, 3 minus 1 makes 2, 4 minus 1 makes 3, and so on. So, these are the possible values for y. Now, you just need to form the probability distribution table. There are 7 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 upon 16 because we have total 16 outcomes. There are 5 twos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 upon 16. There is just one 4. So 1 upon 16. And this total must be 1. Find the probability that y is 2 given that y is even. So this is the numerator. And the sum of these two, because these two numbers are even, must be the denominator. So 5 upon 16 divided by 6 upon 16. And this is the exact answer. Question number 5. The times in hours that Devin plays on his games machine each day is normally distributed with means 3.5 and standard deviation 0.9. Part A. Find the probability that on a randomly chosen day, Devin plays on his games machine for more than 4.2 hours. So this probability is required. This area. So first convert this statement into Z with the help of this formula. X minus mu over sigma. This is the value of Z. So Z greater than 0.778. We need this probability. This is here. We need this area. Since this area is small, so it should be 1 minus phi. 1 minus phi, and the value of phi is 0.7818. This is the final answer up to 3 significant figures. Part B. On 90% of days, Devin plays on his games machine for more than t hours. Find the value of t. This is the given information. We need the value of t. First convert this statement from x to z. So it should be t minus 3.5 divided by 0.9. Now shade this area with respect to this inequality. Since we have greater sign, so we need to shade this area from upper tail towards the lower tail in this way. And the value for 0.9, the corresponding value for 0.9 is minus 1.281. Now you just need to equate this thing with minus 1.281 to get the value of t. The value of t is 2.35. Part C. Calculate an estimate for the number of days in a year, 365 days, on which Devon plays on his games machine for between 2.8 and 4.2 hours. This is simple. First, convert this statement from x into z. Then this is here. This will become phi because this number is positive, and this will become 1 minus phi because negative number will always be 1 minus phi. So when you will simplify this equation, you will get this thing. Phi plus phi minus 1. So 2 phi minus 1. And phi is 0.7818. Therefore, this is the probability. And since we have to estimate, so we need to multiply this probability by 365. We are getting this number. So either write 205 or 206. This is better. Both the answers are fine. Question number 6. The times T minutes taken by 150 students to complete a particular challenge are summarized in the following cumulative frequency table. Draw a cumulative frequency graph. This is simple. You just need to label both the axes carefully. This should be on horizontal axis, time taken T minutes with unit, and here you need to write cumulative frequency and then draw the smooth curve or polygon. This is the cumulative frequency curve, or you can draw cumulative frequency polygon. It's your choice. Whenever this says graph, that means either go for curve or polygon. This is very smooth. This is amazing. Well, the next part. 24% of the students take k minutes or longer. This means this part of the curve, the upper part of the curve. Whenever this is longer, that means this part. So 24% of 150. First get this number. This is, I guess, 44, 36. So 150 minus 36 makes 114, and the corresponding value of 114 is 44. This is your answer, because this part of the curve is required. It says longer than. So 44. See, 24% of 150 is 36, and 150 minus 36 makes 114, and the corresponding value of 114 is 44. The next part. Calculate estimates of the mean and standard deviation. For that, you must have frequencies and mid values. You can easily get frequencies by subtracting these cumulative frequencies. 150 minus 134 makes 16. 134 minus 106, and then this and this. So these are the frequencies. Mid values. The first value is 0. So the mid value of 0 and 20 is 10. 25, 35, 50, and the mid value of 60 and 100 is 80. So these are the mid values. Now we have the mid values and frequencies. This is the formula for mean. So you just need to take the product of these two, sum of the product of these numbers, divided by 150. This is the answer of mean. Variance, this is the formula of variance. Sigma fx square over sigma f minus square of mean. So fx square, meaning 12 times 10 square, then 36 times 25 square, and so on, divided by 150 and minus square of the mean. This is the variance, and we need standard deviation, so take the square root of this number. This is the standard deviation. Last question of this paper, question number 7. Find the number of different ways in which the 10 letters of the word shopkeeper can be arranged so that all 3 E's are together. See, when all 3 E's are together, the remaining number of objects are 7, because there are altogether 10 objects. So this is one object, these are 7 objects, so altogether we have 8 objects. So write 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial for 2 p's. We have 2 p's here. So this 2 factorial is for 2 p's. That's the answer. And you can ignore the arrangements of these three E's. Either ignore the arrangements of these three E's or write this thing, 3 factorial by 3 factorial. That's the answer. You have both the options because the arrangements of identical objects is always 1. Both the methods are fine, this one and this one. Part B. Find the number of different ways in which the 10 letters of the word shopkeeper can be arranged so that the P's are not next to each other. This is simple. First, find the number of arrangements in which both the P's are together. So for that you need to make the box. So you have 9 objects. This is one object, these are 8. So altogether 9 factorial divided by 3 factorial for 3 E's, because we have 3 E's over here. And for these two P's, you can either ignore the arrangements of these two or write 2 factorial by 2 factorial. I ignore the arrangements of these two. You could write 2 factorial over 2 factorial if you want. This is the total. This one. 10 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial divided by this. The formula is this. Total minus P's together. Same method is here. You can either use this or this. In this method, this student mentioned the arrangements of these two P's. In this method, I didn't. You have option, either use this method or this method. Both the methods are fine. Part C. Find the probability that a randomly chosen arrangement of the 10 letters of the word shopkeeper has an E at the beginning and an E at the end. This is very simple. So we have E's at the end. Since objects are identical, therefore there is no need to arrange these two E's. You just need to arrange the remaining 8 objects randomly. So 8 factorial over 2 factorial, because we have 2 P's in this box. So this 2 factorial is for these 2 P's. And since we are working for probability, so we need to divide this answer by this total. 10 factorial divided by 2 factorial by 3 factorial. That's the final answer. The last part of this question. 4 letters are selected from the 10 letters of the word shopkeeper. Part D. Find the number of different selections if the 4 letters include exactly 1 P. So you have to make the possible selections for this part. So the remaining letters, remaining distinct letters are 5. We have 3 E's and 2 P's. So number 1, these are the possible arrangements, selections. So selections with either 1P, no E, and 3 letters from remaining 5 letters, because altogether we have to select 4 letters. So selections with 1P, no E, and 3 from remaining 5. This total will become 4. So 5C3. You already have selected 1P, so no need to mention the selection of this P. Just write 5C3 here. There are 10 ways. Now selections with 1P and 1E. You already have selected P and E, so no need to mention the selections of identical objects. Just mention the selection of the remaining 2 from remaining 5 distinct objects. So 5C2. So we already have selected 1P and 2 E's. We just need to select 1 letter from remaining 5. For that we need to write 5C1. This is 5C1. Let me correct this. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. 3, 2, 1, 1. This is 5C3. This is fine. 5C2 is also fine. 5C1. This is fine. So there are 10, 10 and 5 ways. Now selections with 1P and 3 E's and no letter from remaining 5. So this is just one way. So there are altogether 26 ways to select 4 letters from 10 letters of the word shopkeeper with this restriction. You can take the screenshot of this solution if you want. Well, this is all. An important advice for me and for everyone. Think before you speak and think before we speak. Good luck. I'm extremely thankful to Ms. Subika Hadar who helped me to make this lecture. Indeed, she is an outstanding student. May Allah Pak bless her always. Ameen.